Hello everyone, I'm Jeroen from Vinophone Wine Writer and WSET certified wine expert. Today I have a very special guest at Sparks by Vinophone, and in the show I'll dive into the fascinating world of wine, spirits and innovative drinks. Today my special guest is from one of Tuscany's most respected winery. It's Mirja Bracali from Czechy, and we will be exploring the story behind their newest flagship wine from Czechy. It's this wine. I think it's Cuovo, but Cuovo from 2021, a super Tuscan that represents both tradition and innovation. We'll be tasting it together and learn about the philosophy that makes this wine so special. Mirja Bracali, it's wonderful to have you here, and thank you very much for your time. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes. I'm
Well,
Mirja.
Mirja. Perfect. And you're in the great country of Tuscany, Toscana in Italy, making a very famous Chianti Classico, of course, and all different wines. You're the chief winemaker at Czechy Winery. Could you tell me something more about what you do?
Yes. Hi. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you, and I am the chief enologist and director of production at Cecchi, and I've been working here since for 26 years. I feel that I can see that I have grown together with the company and working with hand in hand with Andrea Cecchi and the entire team to follow perhaps a consistent a constant direction in the search of quality. This is my job. This is my passion. I'm fell in love with the wine many years ago. So, and I'm here now.
So you're the chief winemaker making a lot of different wines, but in average, how many bottles per year do you produce?
In Czechia, we produce also 9 million of bottles per year. So we have a very important and interesting production wine. So I'm so busy every day.
Yeah.
Busy every day. We have some special wines that come from our estate because we have estate here in Chianti Classico area, in Castellina in Chianti, Villa Cerna and Villa Rosa, where we produce special selection of Chianti Classico, and in Maremma, in Val delle Rose, in the south part of Tuscany, where we produce special selection of different varieties. So Merlot, Cabernet Franc, and what the name of our Cineggiolo. And in Vermentino, it's a white grape with the production of a special selection of Vermentino that the name is Cobalto. We produce this wine in 3 different varieties. It's amazing. I love this wine because it is so complex and so concrete, but still concrete and oak together, a blend with a very expressive, complex wine, complexity of wine. And then we are in Umbria with Tenuta Statura, when we produce Sagrantino and Montefalco Rosso, Montefalco Bianco that come from Trebbiano grapes. Very interesting varieties again, because with great potential in aging, so it's great for Italian white wine. Sometimes we have a new gold in the family, in Cecchi family, because we have Aminta, that is our estate in Montalcino, and we are launching in these days, so in this year, the wine of Aminta, Brunello, and Rose. So it's
Sounds very interesting.
With my team, together with my colleagues, we are involved every day in winemaking.
Yeah, it sounds perfect and very fascinating. Always growing, making new wines, new opportunities. And talking about new opportunities, you launched this wine, Cuevo, and could you tell me something about this wine?
Yes. Perhaps the first harvest of this wine, Cuervo, was 2006. And with this wine, perhaps the fourth generation at the helm of the company, Andrea Cecchi, that is our president and CEO, strongly felt and desired that this wine, with this wine, give a turning point in Czech's enological history. So, because Coevo perhaps represents the synthesis of a very deep and important part in the history of Czechia. Coevo is a memory of our tradition. It's a reference for the present, but above all for the future. And it is a real testimony of two milestone territories for the family, Chianti Classico and Maremma. In fact, we produce this wine from two different areas. Here in Castellino in Chianti, with the Sangiovese that comes from our vineyards Ribaldoni in Villa Rosa, and with Merlot that comes from Poggio La Mozza vineyards in Val delle Rose in Spain. Why we choose two different areas of production? Because they represent the milestone of the Czech history wines. And the philosophy of Coevo, that means in Italian language contemporary, means that we can change the blend every year. But with the 2021, the vintage that we are tasting now, we have a new chapter of the history of this wine because we reduced from 4 different varietals to only 2 varietals that are perhaps the masterpiece of our making. So with Sangiovese, that binds Czechia to the terroir, because for us Sangiovese is the king of the variety, because it is the basis of all the most important appellation in Tuscany and in Czechia production too. But with the Sangiovese from Villa Rosa, we had very important change because we character of freshness, of great elegance, persistence, and the show of long aging for Coevo. So I think that it's a very interesting harvest and vintage.
Yeah, and so the 2 grape varieties, Sangiovese and Merlot, from different areas. But what are the percentages of each grape variety?
50%. Yes.
30.
Exactly the same percent. So no more importance one versus the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
The same.
And could you share something about how you make this wine?
Yes. All our wines, so all the technique in winemaking for us are very easy, because the most important thing for us is to announce and to maintain the character of the grapes and what the grapes can say. Because it's all in this way you can have the very strong personality and individuality of our wines. So for Coevo, we picked in 2021 in the second part of September, and we in the cellar we have only easy winemaking process, because we maintain wet the skin without pushing the extraction of tannins, because we don't want to have a strong, a masculine wine. What we try to maintain freshness, very elegant and famous wine. So this is very easy, not something strange.
Yeah. And after you press it and you did the fermentation, did the wine age on oak or?
Yes, this wine, the wine did malolactic fermentation too, because in this way we can maintain a very well balanced in acidity. And then we aged in oak in barrel of 5 hectoliters, so big barrel, and for almost 14 months. Sometimes depend on the vintage, because you must taste every month the wine and the behavior of the aging during the aging. So at the right moment, we decided to put out from the oak the wine and then involve.
Yeah. And now for the most interesting part, of course, shall we taste the wine together?
Yes.
Because I already poured it in, because I don't want to spill something on myself. But I immediately had was a nose full of ripe red fruit, but also a lot of spices, a lot of herbs, dry herbs, but also a lot of nutmeg and a little bit like wood, but it wasn't very wood.
Yes, it doesn't overwhelm the richness of the sweetness of the.
Yeah, and it's full, but it is aromatic, but also a lot of like violets, roses, and very complex. Is that
Yeah.
also about because Revo means contemporary, though, so it's modern? Is this more like a new sound of Tuscany?
Wow. Yes, I think so. Yes, it's right.
Yeah. Cheers. Salute.
Oh, I salute.
Oh, it's very round, very fruity. The tannins are present, but not too much. Full body, but very light-weighted in the mouth, very drinkable.
Yeah.
And a lot of spices again, a lot of cinnamon, nutmeg, dry herb like rosemary, thyme, sage also, a lot of blossoms and roses, but it's very light-footed, light, very drinkable. And so this is the new sound of Tuscany, but still you manage to have a lot of heritage in it because the history is also inside of this wine.
Yeah.
How did you manage to do this?
Yeah, heritage. Yes. Yeah. This is obviously that contemporary means the heritage of the Tuscan winemaking. Our roots are here in Castellina and Chianti, so it's the core of the production of the wine in Tuscany. But at the same time, we would like to have a look in the future because we are conscious that wine can be stone because the wine must be evolved in the future, and so you have to maintain, you have to have a view what the meaning of the wine today. So in this sense, we lose the touch of oak, so the overwhelmed oak in the wine, but we would like to preserve the sweetness, the freshness, because in this way you can enjoy the wine in every moment of your day. So you can enjoy this wine with, but why not with chocolate at the end of the dinner or the lunch? So it's a different vision of perhaps of wine linked to the tradition, but we see to the future too.
Yeah, and what do you like the most about this wine?
So the persistent, the vertical tasting of the wine, because and it comes from the Sangiovese from Villarosa, because this is the strong character of Sangiovese that comes from that located area. So this freshness, stability, saltiness of the wine comes from there, even if saltiness comes from the Merlot from Maremma, because in Maremma we have the breezy that comes from the sea, so this character freshness comes from there too. So this is
So the freshness comes also from the sea wind, but the Merlot is also about roundness.
yes.
But normally, I think it will be too much contrasty because you have the powerful muscular from Sangiovese and the roundness of Merlot. But in this way, you get a very
Yeah.
synergy.
Yes, but Merlot that come from Valderosa is a special Merlot because the vineyard is very high on sea level, and it is influenced by the breeze that comes from the sea. So it's not a jammy Merlot. It's a roundness Merlot, but with good freshness. So it's a good blend with Sangiovese because in other ways it can be not so blend together. The Sangiovese comes from Chianti Classico, and the Merlot that come from a urban area on the seaside. Yes.
Yeah. And just a short last question. What do you see in the future for Czechia? What can we expect more?
It's not so easy because every day is the future for us. So we must think something new, must think something interesting, but perhaps I can see that more and more we are looking forward to winemaking as a matter of interpreting the terroir. This is a very important one. It must be recognized. So we must have a very strong individual personality. And we strongly believe in custom that they are being consistent with our territories, our lines, and Mother Nature are offering. So we believe that identity will be the desirable trait in the wines of the future. And we can't forget that we must talk to the youngsters. So in order perhaps to create wine culture, it's very important. So you are so important for our wine and wine of every producers. And perhaps again pay attention to why not distribute quality wines with an accessible or very well priced. So this is perhaps it is one of the most important goals for our winery in the future.
Thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for the information. I really enjoyed this wine. Milia Bracali, Chief Winemaker from Czechia. Salut. This was a new episode of Sparked by Vinovom. Join us for the next episode, and if you have the chance, go buy this wine. It will be available international from Czechia. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Enjoy.